estate planning. So what is
Okay.
estate planning? A lot of people, we're not even familiar with the idea, especially in India. But what is estate planning?
You know, why are people not aware about estate planning in India?
Why?
Because there's no estate tax. The day the government brings in an inheritance tax out here. So when my father, he's no more, and he passes on his wealth to XYZ, which includes maybe me, my brother, or other members, whoever he wants to, there's no tax. So if it is going from one descendant to the other, there is no tax. That's simple. But in a lot of developed world, it's there. So US, you have got the 594, 593, you have got 641 for retirement, you've got 594, 93 for estate planning, 601 for retirement, sorry. So that's there, right? And people have to plan for their succession. And that is one of the reasons why estate planning is there. Secondly, in India, traditionally, we have been a very family oriented society, right? So it's been a joint family. If there is a sudden demise of one of the members of the family, the other members step in to take care of it. But currently now, as things stand, people are moving out for work. The base might be in Calcutta, but the next generation is working in a Mumbai or a Bangalore or anywhere else
Correct.
for work, right? So that entire foundation is changing. There's a tectonic shift happening in the last 10-15 years that's going on. So that is why we feel that in the future, estate planning makes a lot of sense, and that is why it wasn't there till now. Now, what is estate planning? It's basically planning after one is not there. So tomorrow, if something happens to me and I die interstate, interstaters mean I did not plan for my, who will get what my assets are. Then that creates a whole lot of confusion, because a Hindu gets it through the Hindu Succession Act. Muslim have their own laws. Okay. Then there's the Indian Civil Code. I mean, unlike a lot of developed countries, I mean, and I'll definitely not wade into controversial topics, but unlike a lot of developed countries, we don't have a single law which governs succession. People have different laws.
That's
But
interesting. So based on your religion, there is a different law applying to you in India on your succession. That's very interesting, actually.
it is, and it is interesting, and it is very political. So people don't want to trample on religious belief. But if you ask me personally, I mean, it is, if we have a single criminal procedure for everyone, why not single succession laws for everyone? I mean, it affects each and every one of us. It affects each and every one of us. It affects you, me, or the person next door. It affects everyone, because it's part of life.
Yeah.
And it's very important, because if you don't plan your succession properly, you will not know which assets of yours goes to which person. Maybe you want your assets to go for charity, and if you're not doing that, that's not going to happen. Maybe you'd want your assets to go to person X, and that's not going to happen. One of the things that we realize over the course of practice is your mobile number is one of the biggest assets today. Did you realize it? We advise clients to,
Whoa.
in their will, just think about it.
That's crazy.
Think about it. Your mobile number is your biggest asset. You have all your OTPs coming there.
All your contacts, maybe business calls, like, customers are giving you calls on your mobile number.
Everything happens on the phone. Everything. Your investment OTPs, your withdrawal OTPs, your bank OTPs, everything come to your phone. And tomorrow, if you plan all your finances properly, but you don't plan to give away your phone number to a responsible person.
Oh, that is crazy. Wow. That just blew my mind. It's so subtle, but it's so deep. Wow. I need to write that down right now. 1 second.
Do it, definitely. I mean, there are
Wow.
various nitty-gritties. I've got a small son of 4.5 years age. Okay. Now, I stay with my family. I stay in a joint family. I've got my parents. I've got my younger brother. So tomorrow, if something happens to, say, me and my wife both together, I mean, life is unpredictable, right? If something happens to both of us together, going by the traditional system, I'm sure my parents will take care of them, or my younger brother will, or my sister-in-law will, or someone or the other will take care of him, right? Simple. But think about a scenario where people don't live in a joint family, or they don't have a parent to look after later on. The parents are also very old, right? And if something happens to the couple, what about the child? The child is still a minor. People don't plan it, but then there should be a process. There is actually, not should be, there is a process where people can give a custody, a preemptive custody to the child, of their child, to someone whom they trust. We've seen it in movies. You're my godfather. You're
Correct.
my child's godfather.
Correct.
It's the same thing. I mean, I tell it to all my young clients that you should definitely do it. You should have a preemptive custody made, and it's simple. You can just take out a paper, right? That if XYZ things happens to both of us, um, we would want our child to be raised by Mr. or Mrs. X,
Wow.
and both the couple sign it. It's so simple. You want a
Wow.
format, I can give a format to anyone, but it's very simple, and it's so important. From a married couple, young married couple, somewhere in my age bracket, I'm 33, somewhere in their 30s to 40s, it's so important, especially those who are working outside their hometown.
True. True. Wow. This is so important. Estate planning. So, estate planning, there's no tax on in India, and we don't even have awareness. I'm seeing that a lot of fights are happening between, let's say, two brothers nowadays. And a mentor of mine, he was the co-founder of one of the largest retail clothing brands in Eastern India. And he said, the mistake is that the previous generation, they did not plan succession properly. And that's
Yeah.
causing a lot of these fights between, the current generation brothers when the father passes away, or, even between siblings like sisters and brothers and sisters, who will get what. That whole fight starts because it's not been clarified since the beginning. And what you're saying is exactly pointing to that.
You're right, 100%. I mean, uh, there is some awareness among some of the business families now, but still, I mean, very frankly, our firm, we help settle family disputes as well between clients.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people are not able to mediate it between
Yep.
themselves. They require a
Yep.
third person. Best example is between the Ambani brothers. So they
Correct.
require the help of their mother, a
Correct.
senior citizen at that time, to help sort out the problems that they were suffering from, right?
Correct.
So one of the things that we also do is family settling family disputes, and that is primarily because the people have been grown in the joint family business culture. The joint family culture is still there. So jaise hota gaya, the way people started expanding, they did. And it's okay. I mean, you should not hold your growth back because of it, but somewhere down the line you should take a pause. Businessmen, I believe, should take a pause at around the age of 50, sit with their brothers or co-partners, and decide, that we should create a structure so that if there is dispute, and I'm not saying there should be a dispute. I know a lot of business families who have no problem with the joint way of running the businesses.
Correct.
If there is a dispute, it's a clear way out. I mean, there is
Yes.
no harm to the business or the individual.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. A lot of time these nice businesses go for a toss just because of individual conflict. And I think the root cause of that conflict is, since there is no clear path since the beginning, like you said, there's no easy way out. That causes conflict, because then you're trying to grab more than the other, or all the conflicts are happening. But if there's a clear path set, maybe that causes more mental peace and better, focus towards business and a peaceful relationship.